will be presenting our DHL case study for this, for the AI agents. In this case, I will be co-presenting with Lekshmy. Lekshmy from Oracle has been helping us. We have created this project. The idea of this project, you will be seeing this. We will to introduce, it's not DHL World, it's our site, in order that you can understand also the use case. Then we'll see where we are in DHL at this moment. We'll do some part of the presentation of the business cases that we have implemented. But afterwards, Lekshmy will be presenting the journey. That's how we search for these business cases, what others had not been done, and what we have decided to use these use cases. And finally, we will go in for the case success, measures, what things we expect, what is the strategy that we have for this, and how we measure the success of this project. In this case, an idea of the DHL world for this, in order that you can understand what are the problems that we have, is this. We are in DHL supply chain, that is 4PL mainly, with more than 500 customers across worldwide. We have different OTM environments, one for the UK and EMEA, another for NORAM and LATAM, and another one for APAC. And in this case, we can also have business that are using one of these environments, but working from the other sides. More than 100K employees in 3 time zones, more than 5,000 orders per day, more than 5,000 carriers, and 1,000 of repos. And in order to make this more understandable, we will try to show this from a planner perspective. In this case, we will talk about Carol. Carol is a planner in Germany, and then she's working in a business that is worldwide. She's in the control tower of Germany, but because there are connected control towers, the main control tower in this case is US, because the customer is in US mainly. And she's working with people from another control tower in China. And for example, in this case, today, the idea for her is that try to not be so stressful as other days. And she arrived with this behavior to the office and say, okay, today will be a great day. But the day has started with an email from a colleague from China that say, okay, finally, we have sent this shipment that was delayed before. And then you are in charge of this. You need to report now because we have passed this to you, because this shipment is going from China to EMEA, and then you are in charge. Okay, it's not a bad starting day, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Then, some of the things that can happen. In this case, she started taking some orders to plan. She needs to plan today about 30 to 40 shipments. And she started with the full plan. And then when she started, fails. And she's blaming again the system. It's happening again. Why? And I don't know what is happening. And I need to plan these shipments because are for tomorrow. And I need to warn the carrier to prepare all the collections and so on. And then this is happening again. I don't know how to solve it. And probably I need to do a manual shipment again. Meanwhile, I will try to put some ticket and to have this fixed. This is not a good day. And this starts the stress for her. Other thing that can happen, for example, in this case, is that meanwhile she was struggling with this and deciding if really will be raising a ticket to IT in order to fix this bull plan, or at least understand why this is failing. She receives a call from the customer, in this case, saying that there is some update in the order that is urgent and needs to be planned. She entered to this order in the OTM, and she says that each order has no dates. Why? Customer is saying that they have sent out date, but she cannot see in the system. Then she has not an IT background, but she knows how to deal more or less with this. And she goes to the transmission manager and see that there is a transmission fail, check it, but she cannot understand what is happening with this. Okay, I need to raise another ticket again. It's not been as expected. All these things are happening. Also, for example, other thing that she has planned other shipment, and meanwhile she's doing other things, she remembered, okay, I need to go to the shipment I have planned because I forget to add this manual toll cost that I have, say, several months ago to procurement that this part is missing in the rate, but every time I need to manually add it because nobody is adding this to the rate. Then we have another thing to do. And it's a thing that I need to remember because next week I will be on holidays and I need to explain this to the person that will be taking my job this week in order that they don't forget to add these kind of things. All of these things are the things that are happening, and these are the integration errors that we have that are probably many of these things for the OTM is not working, OTM is not planning, that for sure you have heard a lot of times. And if I have €1 for every time that they have tell this, I will be millionaire. And OTM is working. The thing is that they don't have the right master data. Sometimes this is a thing that is not because the operator, because probably in some cases we have our master data in OTM linked to the customer system. Maybe you enter OTM, you put the latitude and longitude, or you put some amendment in the location or in the equipment or whatever, but because you are connected to the customer, if the customer makes some mistake, this mistake will be arriving to your master data and overwriting. And this is why a shipment that has been, or a rate that has been working for last 3 months, today is not working because something has changed in your data. These are the things that we are trying to address in this case. We are trying to view in the tactical side why we have this kind of errors and to highlight to the users in order that they can identify the cause and take the right decision for this. For the strategic side in this case, the idea of this is that in a good way, the shipment or the order of the shipment needs to go seamless for the system. You don't need to have some manual change. If you are doing manual change, you are adding waste to the shipment. And this is the thing that is against the escalation. If you want to scale the operations, you need to have this as seamlessly as possible. This is why one of the business cases that we have is to identify this kind of manual touches to the shipment in order to understand why, because it can be the same. It's some part that is missing in the rates, or some part that has not been properly configured, or maybe customer, supplier, carrier is doing something wrong, and you need to identify this carrier, this supplier, or this customer issue in order to address correctly. This is why we are creating all these things, and we have this AI strategy in order to have these quick wins and to have the life of Carol in this case better. Because one of the things that we think is that we need to earn the trust of in this case, of the planners. Because if you are giving a new tool that you say, okay, you have this one that will be helping you, but really you have another thing that is another source of error. We have enough now with having all the errors that we have and manually address. We don't need a new one. In this case, we have approached this with Oracle. We have been having some workshops that Lekshmy will be explaining how we manage this. And we were trying to view what are the things that we can do that will be less impact, cost efficiency, that we can start faster and get this trust of the users, that we are giving tools that really makes their life easier. It's not we are adding some extra layer that will be bothering them or will be creating new problems that they don't know. And then we are trying to mitigate this pressure, because the thing is that we want to have this to remove pressure from the operators in order that they have time for doing the real things that matter. We want to have this evolving in the digital worker things, but we start at this moment small for this. We have decided to use this Oracle OTM with AHN Studio for these strategic things. Then, because we are in the techie side, one of the things that we're trying to avoid is that having all the things put, we will create a Uber automated process, AI agent that will be doing everything and will be giving a lot of information for you, but we will doing the action for you, and will be this digital worker. We will put all the bells and whistles, and then after this, we'll put a ribbon and pass to operation, and it's your problem. This is not the thing that we want to do. We want to start small, narrow. In the cases, you will see that we are trying to go straight information and very narrow things, and it's not in the way that we are creating, it's not you can talk to the agent and ask things. No, the agents will be responding one question with straightforward answer that this is the issue, this is the root cause, this is the thing that you can do for fixing. No other things. We will evolve this, yes, for sure, but we will evolve when we have the trust of the users. That when the users think, okay, the thing that is telling me ODM is fine. This is the real problem. This is the thing that we are trying to do. Okay. Then I will be passing this to Lekshmy in order that she can explain all the journey that we have been doing.
Thank you, Salva. So, what you see is exactly where we started, with a blank slate. Well, Srini, thanks for showing us that there are fancy agents coming in and with templates, but when we started, we had nothing. We had just a blank slate. So, yeah, it's coming. What we did first is set up a task force. Now, in a lot of projects, what we see is this team is not identified in the beginning. What's special about this team is they have three things. They have a vision, they have the information, and they have the money. So this is the team that controls the decisions. It's very important that you know who has all three. So this is not just the customer team. As consulting, I was involved right from the beginning of this journey. So that was a good experience. So what did we do next is found out the opportunities together with the customer, together with DHL. Now, DHL has involved all their strategy team, the business team, IT team. So the change management eventually would become simpler. Now, the opportunities came from every region. It came from every level. So there was a long list of opportunities. We didn't want to do something just for the sake of introducing AI. AI has to add value. So we have a list of candidates. And now we looked at the list. Oh, the list is too long. Now we have to do something about it. So what did we do next is value analysis. What will give you the maximum value as a user? So who is the target audience? It's the user. It's Carol. So what are those benefits? And you have to quantify the benefits. And sometimes it's not quantifiable. There are things like stress-free day for Carol. That would be a nice qualitative benefit. So we looked at the benefits, and we looked at the success factors. What would be the measure of success? When we have completed this project, what would give you happiness that we have achieved this? When we close the laptop and leave for the day after go live, are you happy about this? What you have added to the user? Well, we have a long list. We have you could call it a Christmas list. It's a big one. But what is possible? Is everything possible? Is it feasible to just start something that can we achieve all these? So how would you do this? You would normally analyze it. So that's what we did. Together with the right decision makers, we analyzed, is it functionally possible, technically possible, non-functional, like performance, system performance, change management. Can we still train the users within the given time? Yeah. Do we have the money? Yeah, we know. And what risk are we facing? So we did a long feasibility study, and then we prioritized. We use a very complex tool for prioritization. I will show you in the next slide. And now, cost versus benefit is analyzed. So the long list has now become a short list. Short list is only for the initial releases. However, this list can be added, the list can be enhanced. There are more things that can be added to the short list, but the short list is the immediate goal, something that is within the foreseeable future. And then the big job, planning for the project, And while Oracle plans for the project, we do the design, we do the technical design, and stuff like that. DHL colleagues work on the adoption plan, rollout plan, training plan. So we worked together. That was the planning. Oh. Then comes the execution. So what we are doing right now is basically going to UAT in the next weeks. So we have done the configuration, testing, and maybe 5 playbacks, including the users and the decision makers. And it's so nice that we created this whole proof of concept for UKI, UK and Ireland, and the North America saw it, and they said, now we want it, which is good. Now North America will go live first before UKI. So yeah, good work by the DHL team. So that's where we are, and as we have identified at the beginning of the journey, we're going to measure the success at the end. And as Salva mentioned, we're not going big bang. We're going step by step. We're not scaring the users. So AI is coming, am I losing my job? No, Carol is not worried. Carol knows that this is going to help her in her daily job. So as I promised, I'm going to show you a very complicated prioritization tool, which is 2 lines and 4 quadrants. Yeah, not complicated. My joke fell flat. So when you can get high benefits with very low efforts, the slide got cut, but this line, it says efforts. Somehow that went below the line, but you're smart people, you'll figure this out. So something that can be achieved with minimal efforts and high operational value. Why don't we do that in BR1? So that's what we did, like all of us. And BR2 would be high value, but maybe a little bit more efforts. And then BR3 and the pipeline. So this is where the Christmas wish list goes into the pipeline. So that's how, that's our very complicated tool to do the prioritization. And we did a really interesting workshop together with the key stakeholders in DHL, 2.5 days in Bonn, Germany at the DHL office. And we didn't open our computers, but we had post-it slips, and then we all wrote down our ideas. So of course, before the workshop, we came from the Oracle team, we came in with ideas. DHL team came with their ideas, and then we put it all into the mixture, discussed, deliberated, stayed there for 2.5 days, and came up with this list. So now we have a immediate plan, we have a long-term plan, and we have a strategic vision. So in the first release, we chose 3 use cases. Bulk plan failure analyzer. So now Carol does not get an opportunity to blame the system, because OTM AI agent will tell her exactly what she needs to do, and she can do that quickly. So there are more details coming for the use cases, but it's just a teaser. Transmission error analyzer, you have order releases coming into OTM, and they are 4PL business, DHL. So you don't have an ERP where you can control. This is coming from customers. So, well, there are data errors, or sometimes there's a remark that's missing in OTM. This agent tries to find out what exactly went wrong with that order release, and it tells you what you can do as Carol. Now the third one, as Salva mentioned, the users just keep changing the cost. They change sometimes with a reason, sometimes without a reason. Well, it's very difficult to for the management or for the supervisors to find out who did the change, why did they change, what should they do. So yeah, of course, there are reports, but who has the time to go through reports? And why do the fancy AI way? Why not? Yeah, so that's what we did. So I'm going to now show a little bit deep into the use cases. As you know, the traditional way is, the traditional way would be the planner or Carol. I didn't know that Carol was going to be here. Otherwise, I would have made this a woman, but okay. The planner would go into OTM, look at the logs, look at the order constraints, look at the data. Yeah, there's a lot to do. Or they just raise a ticket because the order is high priority. I plan with a spot cost and not I, Carol, send it. So, yeah, that's possible. But what we could also do is the planner could open the chat window of Oracle AI Agent Studio and ask nothing, just pop the bulk plan ID there and it'll tell you, hey, your service time does not meet the order. Here map says 5 hours, but you have only 3 hours to deliver, so this is going to fail. So Carol has more tools to work with. She could just adjust the time or find another service provider who can match the time. There are multiple options. So fix and quickly replan. So this is the first use case, and this is an eye test. Can everybody see it? No, I guess not. So this is the AI agent. All you need to do, unfortunately the last line got cut due to some screen resolution issue. So there's a box called Ask Oracle. What do you do? Just pop in the bulk plan ID with the domain name and everything, because for DHL with multiple customers, you always have to pop the domain name in. So put in the domain name, and then it's going to analyze, take 36 seconds to tell you that, well, transit time is impossible. Transit time is infeasible. So if you know OTM screens, you know very well that this means there is a rate, but transit time is infeasible. Well, that was the reason. So this is the first use case. So easily, Carol can find out what is, why the order failed, order/orders. There'll be time for questions later. I'm sure there are some. Order transmission error analyzer. The other use case, the traditional method would be, why is it relevant? Because 12% of the order fails. So we know that there's a lot of tickets to L1 and L2 support. Traditional way would be this long route, which is planner calls OTM or looks at OTM, cannot find the issue, goes to L1, L2 support. They go to OTM and look at this long error. If you have ever seen Transmission Manager, it is this room wide. It is a pretty long text. So decrypting that would be the responsibility of the L1, L2 support. And they go back to the planner and say, well, a refnum is missing. And then the planner goes to OTM, fixes the foreign key, which is the refnum qualifier, and goes back to planning. Or it might be something that the customer made an error in. They sent a bad value in the order release. So planner has an option to call the customer and get it fixed. So in the new world, all these people and all these steps have been taken out. Planner would just speak to Oracle AI Agent Studio, which is down here. They just get the answer quickly, and it says refnum qualifier missing. Yeah, okay, create a missing qualifier, and there you go. So also here, the input is just the transmission ID. So it's not going to ask you back, what did you have for breakfast? No, it just tells you transmission failed because of this. Check here, and just the transmission ID, like Sam Altman says, don't say please, hello, thank you, and all that. Yeah, we believe in that too. So we don't want the users to say anything except the transmission ID, and you get the fix. The customer IDs are blocked here, but basically it says the reference location record, whatever value, does not exist in OTM. So That's it. It's maybe 10 seconds, 12 seconds, something like that, yes. Third use case, this might be quite interesting to the supervisors, not maybe for the planners, but this is about, if you look at the relevance, 65% of the shipments are modified. So, yeah, many of you are gasping. Maybe it is the same, or maybe a little higher, because planners always like to temper the data. So, yeah, we have to find a way to fix this. We have to enforce some discipline. To enforce the discipline, you have to have data. And in order to have data, you need to look at reports. You need to look at all those reports, analyze, and then come up with remedial actions. We don't have the time. So what happens is AI agent does that for you. It's going to look into the audit history and tell you, please implement this, so that Carol stops modifying the shipment cost data. Those are unpredictable costs. And this is what you can ask as user. Just ask, analyze the shipment modifications for the last 2 months or 6 months or 1 year. I know many of you know that the audit history wipes away after 1 month. We have a brilliant idea to download and store it somewhere. So, and the agent would look into the stored data and comes up with this recommendation. We have masked the numbers here because, we noticed that there are quite some spot rates. I can't see. Manual cost. And manual costs are sometimes added with explanation and sometimes without. So this gives us tools, or this gives the executives tools to make decisions, enforce discipline, create a standard operating procedure, train the users to say, this is not how you should be doing, this is what we should be doing instead. Contact your procurement, find out that there could be rates or not. So there are remedial actions that the executives can take because you have the data. So the technical architecture goes somewhat like this. So looking at the time. For the use case 1 and 2, it is pretty simple. There's REST API. So the user interacts with AI Agent Studio. It's still not integrated with OTM in our version. So they have to open another window, but that's temporary. Thanks to Srini, it's going to be all integrated, and the product colleagues here, Kunal and sorry, I've got Drupal. Yeah, thank you. So the use case 1 and 2 are just simple integration with OTM with REST APIs. And for use case 3, we have an additional data storage because the audits die a miserable death. So otherwise, we have to save them here in the data repository. That's about it. And key takeaways from this whole design and development. We used workflow agents because we did all the learning by ourselves. We did not have the reference agents from product team. So we went and figured out that, okay, workflow agents give you better performance and predictable results. And we decided to use human in the loop and deep links for initial release. As Salva rightly said, we did not want to go big bang and lose the trust of the users. We're not doing any post into OTM. We're just doing get and take the data readily available for the users, and the users are in control. They can make those decisions. Then we chose a controlled group of operational users for the first release. This is for acceptance, for change management, and also because it is not context aware yet. In the next release, that will be solved. So users context is now available in 26B. Yeah. So when we have it, we can leave the door open for more and more end users. But at the moment, we are using a controlled set of users because everybody has got access. Yeah. And we prioritize the cases, as you saw with the fancy prioritization tool, and we tried to contain the efforts because yeah, we did not want to have a big project to start with, and with high operational value. Yeah, and instead of automation and big things, we decided to make the life of the planners easier by managing by exception and decision support. So that gives more value to the end users. Any guesses how much time we took to do this whole thing? 3 months. We did the initial workshops in November, and December you can practically count out. And it was with 2 colleagues from Oracle, part-time. Yeah. So, thank you, Salva. Back to you.
Thank you. We'll explain now. We'll try to be fast in order that we can have some room for questions. What are the things that we expected and how we are measuring or trying to measure this? One of the things that we have planned to have this kind of survey probably will be modified, and here is more focused on the bull plan side, but this can get you an idea of the things that we would ask for the users is this. How often do you have used this agent in order to understand if we have really penetration of this or not in the user? The quality of the response, if the agent, the thing that says is fine or not, the recommendations, if are useful, explanations, all of these things. And also to have a net promoter score in order to understand if really will be helpful. We think that will be helpful, but we need to have this, at least to have adoption from the users. This is why we are trying to build the trust of the users. Also, the thing that we are trying is not, the idea is that not only measuring the savings, it's also measuring the time that will be saving for you, because you can spend this time in other things that are more important. The idea that we have with the agents is that we'll be removing repetitive tasks or tasks that doesn't add value, but we want to have in a controlled way. This is why we have created in this way. Also, the way that we are measuring this is this. We will try to view how many queries an operator does for the system, how many active sessions we have, the user retention. Also, the response time and the variability. This means that we have need to have a response time that will be helpful, that is not taking too much time. We know that this, for example, in the bulk plan depends on how many orders you have and so on. The variability that we have been so narrowing the system in order that the thing that they can respond, in order that we don't have variability. We have more deterministic way. We are losing some of the capabilities because we are narrowing this, but it's a good way to have every time the same thing. If we respond in 2 different ways to the same question of the user, then we will not have trust from the user, and we want to have this trust. Also, the quality, in this case, we have the percentage of correct answers that we expect that will be 99 or 100%, but we'll try. The applicable recommendation, if really the recommendations that we are giving is the real ones. And also the root cause, because since that the correct answer and the root cause can be the same, but are not the same. Maybe the answer that from the system is fine, because it's saying, okay, you are missing this information because it's not in the order. But the problem, the root cause can be in the customer system that is sending the orders. This is why you cannot see the customer system and you don't know what is the root cause. Then we need to view at what point system can try to guess what is the root cause. And also the operational impact. In this case, we need to have time reduction for this. And also, in the case, for example, for the transmission, to have less retries and to have this fixed. In the transmission, we have started for the orders, but the idea is to have not only the orders, to add in some new versions events and other transmissions in order that we can know what is failing. For example, for the cost and all this kind of thing for processes, we are trying to evolve, and in some moment we want to add in the RAG some standard processes in order that we can check if the users are following our processes or not, but this will be more advanced thing and probably will be in 1 year or more. And this is more or less the idea. It's not the best way to measure, because we know, for example, how many times they are using is a good thing for the POC, but not for the final, because the idea is that if you start using and you are using fine, you are fixing the master data, and then you are using less because system is working better, but you will not realize. They say, okay, maybe agent is not working because people are not connected. No, people have solved all the things that we have. Also, for example, the idea that we have for the bull plan is instead of taking the logs, that the problem that we have is in production, enable the logs to get this bull plan, then disable the logs in order to know impact and so on, will take time, and we need to also involve IT. Then we are taking another approach. We created some time ago travel setting guides for the operators in order that when a bull plan files, they need to follow some process. Okay, check location, check rates, check service time, check time windows. We know that this is difficult, and in the case of Carol, if you have a very stressed day, you are not going through all of this. You are putting a ticket, and then you are manual planning, and somebody will check this ticket afterwards. But the idea is that we have implemented these kind of things using the OTM API with the AI agent that is checking all these things, doing this travel setting, and giving the answers to the users. We are not covering all the cases, yes. But when we fix all the ones that we have that are top 10, then we will add new cases. And this is more or less the strategy that we have. In this case, we are in the phase 1, that the foundation. We are trying to create this. We have created 3 business cases. We prepared all the setup, and we started the UAT, or we are trying to start the UAT. Then we will add more strategic cases, improve the actual ones that we have, get the feedback, and also add this feedback to the agents, and also try to embed maybe in Workbench or have it in Teams, also create some dashboards that will be taking information from this, and to be if we can introduce the SOPs in the agents in order that we can check if planners are following the right thing. Also for the phase 3, in this case, we will do in the regional rollout with all the things and bells and whistles and everything, and integrate also with data lake and data maps, because one of the things that we have is we are trying to not get every time the data from OTM, that is fine, but in case that we know that there are some data that can be pulled from the data mart, maybe it will be easy that you are not overcharging the production environment, and there are some data that you can take from this side and then analyze or give some other feedback. Okay, now it's time for the question if you have something.